Hello and welcome to Lessons in Leadership. Friends, this week we're moving on to chapter 26 in our study series of John Maxwell's book, Leadership Gold. And the title of this chapter is The Choices You Make You. Now, this is great because we're up to chapter 26. This is the last chapter of the book, the last chapter of our study series. So this is the last one, best one. Let's dive right in and finish strong. So leadership doesn't begin with position. It doesn't begin with talent. And it doesn't even begin with opportunity, right? Leadership begins with a choice or choices. So in this final chapter of Leadership Gold, John distills decades of leadership wisdom into one defining truth. The choices you make you. So this principle is both empowering, but also confronting, right? It means we're not prisoners of our past or circumstances or our own limitations, but it also means that we are fully responsible for who we are becoming. So leadership is built one choice at a time. Now, most people overestimate the power of a single big decision and underestimate the power of thousands of small ones. So great leaders aren't formed in moments of crisis alone, right? They're formed in what they choose to do when no one's watching. Ooh, there's a big one. What to do or what they choose to do when no one's watching. Number two, how they respond when things don't go their way. The habits they reinforce daily, and the values that they refuse to compromise. So every choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. Or I guess I could also say it's a vote against the person that you're becoming. It just depends on the choice that you actually make. So why do choices matter more than talent, right? Talent opens doors. Yes, it does. You can't deny that. Talent will open doors, but character is what keeps them open. So John reminds us that the ability without discipline, that eventually collapses on itself, right? Leaders who rely solely on gifting often plateau, while leaders who commit to daily disciplined choices continue to grow. Man, I've seen this in so many different areas of my life. One of my lifelong passions is the martial arts. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of gifted people that come and go in the martial arts. When it's too easy for them, if they're too athletically inclined, they're there for a while. But sometimes it's the person that struggles, right? The person that just keeps showing up, and eventually they become lifelong martial artists, and they become very, very good, very, very solid martial artists over time. So this exists in our leadership and our professional lives, but it also shows up in our personal lives, right? And you don't drift into success, right? You don't drift into strong leadership. You choose it daily. You choose it over and over again by those small decisions that you make. So here are the four categories of choices that leaders make. Number one, character choices. Integrity is not built in public. That's where it's revealed. It's built in private through consistent, unseen decisions. So every time you choose honesty over convenience, humility over ego, and faithfulness over applause, you strengthen your leadership foundation. Number two, growth choices. Leaders who stop learning stop leading, right? We all know this. You're either growing or you're dying. Growth is not automatic. It requires choosing reflection over reaction, curiosity over comfort, discipline over distraction, and your growth ceiling is determined by your willingness to learn. Number three, relationship choices. Who you decide to listen to, who you trust, and who you allow to influence you, right? Whether it's people or outside things, what do you allow in your bubble? What do you allow to influence you? Leadership is shaped by proximity. So wise leaders choose relationships that sharpen, challenge, and strengthen their character, not just affirm comfort. Number four, faith choices. Biblical leadership requires daily dependence on God. This is a lesson that I am learning more and more every day as I get older. Choosing prayer before planning. I talked about that, the 3 Ps on the last video, right? Pray, plan, and prepare. Those are my 3 P's now. Pray, plan, and prepare. Choosing obedience before certainty. Be faithful. Know that you don't know everything. So choosing obedience before certainty. Choosing faith before fear. God shapes leaders through choices of surrender long before he entrusts them with influence. Ooh, let's say that one again. God shapes leaders through choices of surrender. Surrender to me. Be faithful to me before I entrust you with any kind of influence. We've got 5 key takeaways here from this chapter, chapter 26. Number 1, leadership is the cumulative result of daily choices, right? They compound. It's a snowball. Number 2, small decisions shape long-term direction. Number 3, character is formed before influence is given. Yes, character is formed before influence is given. Number 4, growth is intentional, not accidental. This goes right back to John's course, the 15 invaluable laws of growth. Growth must be intentional. And number 5, faith-filled choices anchor leadership in purpose. Now, here's 5 reflection questions for yourself and for your team. Number 1, team, what patterns do your daily choices reveal about your leadership? Right? Where are you on the leadership scale? What do your beliefs, patterns, habits, and actions say? What do they reveal about your current level of leadership ability? Write that down. Number 2, which choice do you struggle with most? Do you struggle with discipline? Do you struggle with being humble? Or consistency? Which is it? Be honest. What is it? Write it down. Number 3, what habit, if you changed, would most improve your leadership? What's the one thing that if you did this year, the one habit that if you changed it would most improve your leadership ability? Number 4, how are your choices aligning with your faith and values? Oh boy, there's a look in the mirror. What are some choices that you made that you went, boy, that doesn't really line up with who I really am inside, but I did it anyway. But what are some good choices that you made also that you can say, yes, I was faithful to this? Number 5, what kind of leader are your current choices shaping you to become? Again, we're coming back to choices. What choices you're making right now and where is it leading you to? Let's end with this, 5 action steps that you can take. Number 1, identify one keystone choice. So choose one daily habit that positively impacts every area of leadership. What is that going to be for you? Is it starting your day with something like Zig Ziglar would call it, the good, the clean, the pure, and the positive? What are you putting into your mind? Is that what you need to do? Maybe you need to stop and pray. Maybe you need to let God lead. Number 2, audit your decisions. For 1 week, reflect nightly. Did my choice today align with who I want to become? Right? So we set an expectation for ourselves of who we want to become, and then at night we stop and we ask ourselves, we inspect what we expected of ourselves. How did I act today? Number 3, reduce decision fatigue. Automate healthy choices so discipline becomes your default. Well, I know with me personally, it's hard to force automate something, but when you consistently make it a daily habit, when it becomes a non-negotiable for you, the same as brushing your teeth or eating, right? And it becomes a thing, then it's just part of who you are. It's not something that's forced anymore. Okay. Again, if I go back to a martial art reference, if you do something every day, it just becomes automatic. You don't have to think about the thing anymore. You get into a zone or a flow state. Number 4, invite accountability. Give somebody permission to challenge choices that don't align with your values. So when you're thinking about making a decision, do like what King Solomon did, right? Seek wise counsel. Ask people that you trust to say, hey, you know what my values are. I'm thinking about this. Does this align? Now, you probably are going to answer your own question, but it's always nice to have somebody call you out on it to make sure that you take the high road. Number 5, lead intentionally. Before key decisions, ask, what kind of leader does this choice make me? Oh boy. Before I make this decision, what kind of leader does this choice make me? Not for other people, not just because other people are watching, but how do I feel about it myself internally? So let's end with this closing thought. John Maxwell closes Leadership Gold out by reminding us that leadership isn't built overnight. It's built daily, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Same thing applies. So your future isn't shaped by your intentions, right? It's shaped by your choices. You can have the best intent in the world, but the decisions you make are what really matter. So if you want to help yourself and your leaders grow with clarity, consistency, and biblical alignment, it's going to take some work. You're going to have to start paying attention to the choices that you're making. And if some of the choices that you made in this past year aren't in alignment, well, let's just do something a little bit different, right? Let's go out on a limb and say, hey, before I make the choice this year, let me stop, let me pause, let me pray about this first. Maybe ask yourself the question, what would Jesus do in this situation? And I'll tell you what, I fully intend to do that this year. And I think it's going to make a huge difference in which direction that I had, and make sure that I don't make some missteps that could really cost me. Hey gang, I really hope you enjoyed this series. It's been 26 weeks. I mean, literally 6 months going through this week by week by week. And that's a choice, right? That's an intention. That's something that we do intentionally in order to be able to grow. I do this for myself, and I share it with all of you. And I hope you really, truly enjoyed it so much. So we'll see you next week. We're going to be starting out a new series. I'm doing some work on that to make a final decision on what it is that we're going to delve into. But anywho, hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.